Food waste is really one of the most horrific problems facing mankind today.
We waste about 30 to 40% of all the food we grow.
Collectively, we've sort of decided that having choice and convenience is more important than the downside of having food waste.
I started Chickpea, which creates a variety of sweet and savoury hummus from surplus fruit and vegetables. It was when I was working for large events companies, there was so much waste at the end of every event that even when it was a 3-day event and they were rolling over the same menu, everything would go in the bin and they just roll out the next day. And it used to really get to me. I would turn the leftover vegetable dishes into dips the next day and got a bit of a reputation for Hannah, what's the dip of the day? It was healthy, fresh, bright, colourful, and it was kind of saving money as well as reusing food.
Olio is a free mobile app which connects neighbours with each other so they can share their spare food, so nothing goes to waste.
We make fruit snacks from surplus produce, so that's produce that would otherwise be thrown away because it's too big, too small, too ugly, too abundant.
So what Olio does in terms of tackling waste is it makes it super easy and fun for anyone who has something that's of value but that's not going to be eaten or used.
I'm part of a team. We each have a day that we come to farm stand to collect their wastage food, their surplus, so anything that they've not sold that day but is still good to eat. Rather than actually binning it, we come and collect it, and then we will take that home, post it on the Olio app and wait for people to request it and come and collect it.
People who are looking for things, rather than having to go and buy something new at the store, they can source it secondhand from their neighbor. In that process, that means that less goes to waste, so less goes to landfill.
We're very interested in food sustainability, and we realized that food waste was a big issue. We started brainstorming what we could do with some of this surplus produce. We started going to London's wholesale markets, New Spillfield Market, New Covent Garden Market, taking produce from there at the end of the trading day.
Chickpea is tackling food waste by not only using surplus and kind of the oversized excess, but it's also about educating people. When people buy a pot of hummus, is to think about how they can then go home and actually do the same themselves.
Think about how you consume food, so you just look at what you eat, how you eat it.
Reuse the pot firstly, not always buying the product on the shelf which has the one at the back which has the longer shelf life. If you're going to use it, try and help supermarkets reduce their waste as well.
They might have some crops that are not right, that don't have the kind of right specifications aesthetically, so they might be too big, too small.
There is a hierarchy for food waste that most people should be aware of. First, you should obviously eat anything that's edible. If you don't want to eat it, you should find a way to get another human to eat it. If you can't do that, then you should give it to animals to feed or to eat. Finally, you should consider composting it.
We recently did a workshop at one of the shops that we sell at As Nature Intended, which was looking at how to use some foods that we don't necessarily think of using.
Encouraging people to be creative in the kitchen and use their leftovers.
There's parts of the fruits and vegetables, for example, cauliflower leaves, broccoli stems, that are perfectly edible and delicious, but that we've collectively decided aren't worth keeping.
We made a kind of dip with carrot tops. So we'd never, traditionally you would just chuck those away. Or another thing is like cauliflower leaves. You'd never think of, it's not you never think, but usually people don't eat them. You just eat the kind of heart of the cauliflower, and why, I don't know. I guess that's just how we've been brought up, and that's the way cauliflower is eaten.
Going online, looking for recipes to use the whole food is obviously the first thing that people should do to reduce food waste.
We made a smoothie with banana, which included the banana skin, so you can actually eat banana skin. There's so many things that you can eat and do with things that you wouldn't necessarily think of eating.
So I'm literally just making a surplus hummus recipe from chickpeas that I actually had frozen, to be honest, because I made too much the other day, and you can freeze chickpeas really easily. So I've put about 150 grams of this. This is just vegetables, as I usually do have excess of them. So we've got artichoke, sweet potato, mushroom. I'm actually just going to use the sweet potato today, and if I need more maybe we'll do that. That's actually probably enough. Good old squeeze of lemon juice. 1 garlic clove. And actually I have got some chilli as well, which I roasted earlier along with all the vegetables. Normally do about a teaspoon of olive oil. I've done this quite a few times, sorry. I feel like I know what a teaspoon looks like. I'm sure everyone does. And this is tahini. It's the most amazing tahini I've ever tried. And then a dash of pepper, dash of salt, blend it. One thing I'm going to quickly do is to add just a little bit of water, gets it that bit more smooth and runnier. It's sweet potato. Yeah, literally roasted sweet potato, chickpeas, tahini, garlic, olive oil, lemon juice, chilli and water.
In the UK, the average family wastes 700 pounds sterling worth of food every single year, and that amounts to over 13 billion pounds worth of food that is wasted in the home. Most food waste, for example in the UK, 71% of all food waste takes place in the home. People really get upset about supermarket and restaurant food waste, but the reality is that's a very small fraction of total food waste.
1.4 million bananas get wasted every single day in the UK. That's just the UK, and it's just one day and it's 1.4 million bananas. I mean, I don't even know what that looks like, you know, like how many buses or stadiums or whatever it is, but it's just insane.
A third, if not 50%, of all food produced is never eaten, and meanwhile 800 million people are malnourished. The fact that food is really affordable and cheap helps contribute. In the developing world, nothing goes to waste in the home.
We're not just wasting food, you're wasting everything that went into growing that food or getting it to the point where it is. So you're wasting soil, water, energy, labor, money, and so on, you know, that went into growing, processing, packaging, transporting.
Nothing really needs to go to waste. There's no reason that everyone can't be fed. You could feed every person on the planet and less than a fourth of the food that's wasted in the USA and Europe alone. I think this is really important that we figure this out sooner rather than later. We have 2.5 billion people joining the planet by 2050. And if we don't tackle household waste at scale, then we're going to be left in a really uncomfortable situation.